Crimes and Misdemeanors follows a series of consequences and unfulfilled duties as the film follows Judah and Cliff as they make choices that look sensible on paper but feel morally wrong in practice. I'll explain utilitarianism and Kantianism and then show how each theory helps explain the decisions that these two men make. Utilitarianism asks what action produces the greatest overall happiness per the greatest happiness principle. It looks at consequences and tries to balance pleasure over pain for everyone affected. Kantianism is almost the opposite, and it only focuses on duty and principle, insisting we treat people as ends in themselves and never merely as tools to reach our goals. Judah is a wealthy man who has been having an affair with Dolores. When she threatens to expose his embezzlement and wreck his family life, he faces out a brutal calculation. He decides to have Dolores killed so his wife, children, reputation, and freedom remain intact. From a utilitarian perspective, this looks like a cold but straightforward calculation. One person suffers, many others remain happy, so the action could be justified if you only count outcomes. However, Judah does not wake up relieved and carefree after Dolores' death. He's haunted by guilt and fear. If utilitarianism is supposed to account for all consequences, then Judah's psychological suffering should matter too. That hidden cost complicates the greatest happiness principle. In contrast, Kantianism rejects Judah's decision outright. Judah treats Dolores as a problem to be removed, not as a person with autonomy. He burns Dolores' letter, he collects her belongings to cover his tracks after she dies, and uses her murder as a tool to preserve his life. All of those actions go against the Kantian rule that we never use people merely as means to an end. Kantianism captures the morality of Judah's choice from a lens that utilitarianism struggles to. Even if the outcome seems to benefit many, the action is morally wrong because it instrumentalized a human being. Cliff's choices are to a smaller scale, but no less revealing. He's an aspiring filmmaker who accepts a project about his brother-in-law, Lester, and films him in a way that exposes Lester's predatory behavior. From a utilitarian angle, exposing Lester could be a public good. If the film helps victims and discourages future harm, then the exposure might be justified. Cliff might also see professional gain, which he could count as part of the overall benefit. But utilitarianism asks us to consider all consequences. Cliff risks his career, his relationships, and the well-being of people close to him, like his family. What seems to like a morally clear act at first can have the ability to ripple outward in unexpected ways and might erase the benefits it was supposed to create. Consequentialist moral choices tend to look simple in theory, but get messy in practice. However, Kantianism raises different ideas about Cliff. Cliff manipulates Lester in the documentary process to further his own ends, whether that is for Cliff's career advancement or for Cliff's own personal satisfaction. Cliff used a person as a means to an end, which Kantian ethics does not accept. Even if by Cliff exposing Lester, good things will happen or it's beneficial, Cliff's motive behind his action was not ethical per Kantian because he used Lester to further his own goal. In conclusion, both theories show different parts of the story. Utilitarianism explains why Judah and Cliff might justify their actions by appealing to outcomes and benefits, and then Kantianism explains why those same actions feel wrong because both men instrumentalize other people. Outcome-based reasoning can justify actions that feel intuitively wrong, while duty-based ethics exposes the moral cost of treating people as instruments. The way you treat another person matters just as much as the results that we chase.